Second Esdras chapter 6, verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. I like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahushai Bahashem, Racha HaKodash. Double honors to my other apostles, a great millstone. Peace and salutation to the hopeful members of the elect, the Bacharim of the house of David that's been preordained, predestined to get delivered in these last times and to be the ruling, governing body of the nation of Yasha'Allah. So we're seeing the end of Esau's kingdom, all right, in the beginning of our kingdom when Yahushua returns, okay? And again, the last few prophecies to play out before the end of this man's kingdom is what? The MOTB, the microchip, to be mandated, and then World War III, okay? So we're seeing the end. We're seeing the transition of the kingdom, all right, from Esau's kingdom to our kingdom, all right, to Yahweh Bashim Shai's kingdom, okay? Let's get Revelation, the 18th chapter, verse 1. And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon, the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. And this is Yahushua, all right? He's going to come back with that great glory. All the nations will see him, okay, on that last and dreadful day. The same day, in the midst of World War III, that America will be nuked, all right? And that will be the change that will transition to the kingdom of heaven, all right? There'll be a change of power, all right? And then we'll go after it, will come finding you elites, you international banking families who are hiding in their underground bunkers, their underground cities, and will enslave the heathens round about. But Matthew 24, verse 29, immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven. Those are the ICBMs. And that smoke will engulf the atmospheres, all right? So it will block off the illumination of the sun and the moon for a while. And the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. That's when the ICBM missiles detonate, hit, their target, all right, impact, all right, and America will get 200 million to be exact of ICBMs. Well, each ICBM actually contains 20 to 30, 40 warheads. So again, 200 missiles, all right. And it's going to shake this place. It's going to rock to and fro, as the scriptures say. And then shall appear the Son of Man, Yahushua, in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. Those are the chariots, what you call UFOs. Those are actually spiritual vehicles from the fourth dimension. Ezekiel, the first chapter, described one of the chariots, all right? A wheel within a wheel, and the color of it, all right? One, the color of it was like beryl. Actually, let me get it, Ezekiel 1, verse, let me see. Right, verse 16. The appearance of the wheels in their work was like unto the color of beryl, which is like green. And they four had one likeness, and their appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. You see? Those are the chariots. And that's what our Lord is going to come back in, is a chariot a so-called UFO, a UAP, all right, which stands for unidentified aerial phenomena. So it says, so Yahushua is not going to come back and meet thee as a man. He's coming back as a celestial force with the hosts of angels. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of the heaven to the other. So a remnant will be saved. Only a small remnant of Israel will be saved. And who are the Israelites today? The Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And we have been scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. So our people are everywhere, and they may look like the heathen round about. You will have Israelites that look like Koreans, South Africans, Italians, all right, etc. But if their lineage goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that makes them an Israelite. It's a bloodline, all right? It's all about bloodline, family. You see, you can't make yourself an Israelite spiritually, whether you're either an Israelite or you're not, all right? Your spirit goes back to, your spirit is determined by your father, actually. Your spirit, your ethnicity, okay? So, right, let's go back to Revelation chapter 18. So America's done. This whole kingdom, this whole beast system, Esau Edom's empire is done. Oops, I keep on. Let me go down. It says, verse 2 again in Revelation 18, and he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, is fallen. It's going to be destroyed. It's through. And it's become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Now we can find that same prophecy in Jeremiah, the 50th chapter. I believe the last verse. Verse 45, it says, Therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord that he had taken against Babylon. This is not talking about ancient Babylon, all right, where Nebuchadnezzar was ruling. This is talking about modern day Babylon, okay, America. It says, in his purposes that he hath purposed against the land of the Chaldeans, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Those are the Amalekites. They're going to be the ones to start this major war, his World War III. And that'll be the end of this man's system, of his kingdom. All right. At the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved and the cry is heard among the nations. Okay. Actually, let me go up because that wasn't it. I thought that was, but that was still the spirit, because that's what's going to happen before the downfall of this man's kingdom, all right? The mandate that ship in World War III, who's going to mainly start the Amalekites, are your Israelis, But let me find the scripture, all right? Because in Revelation, the 18th chapter, verse 2, when it talks about the, and every foul spirit, uncaged bird, the unclean bird, it's a prophecy, all right? Because America will get nuked, right? After a long time, when the fire finally settles, it will become a habitation of desert-like creatures. Really, this is going to be the biggest desert in the world, all right? So that's what it was describing, desert-like creatures dwelling in this place, because no one is going to dwell in Babylon ever again, Okay. Oh, here it is, verse 39. And it says, Therefore the wild beasts of the desert with the wild beasts of the islands shall dwell there, as Babylon, and the owls shall dwell therein, and it shall be no more inhabited forever, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. All right. Because again, this place will be nuked, and after a long time, because that fire is going to be burning for a very long time. I can't put a cap on it, but just know that, it will burn for a very long time. Remember the California fires a few years ago? It was burning for a good minute, all right? And that smoke was traveling like to far East Coast states, that alone. And it was burning for a good minute. So imagine, America altogether getting nuked. 9/11 when the towers were, when they collapsed, all right, inside government job. But when they collapsed and were burning, it was burning for weeks on weeks. Okay. So imagine a whole country. Just look at a map of America, that burning. What nuclear fire, all right? What 200 million missiles to be exact. That's an overkill. All right, and they said that the one missile is hotter than the sun, the surface of the sun. Okay. So this is Revelation, Isaiah chapter 13. I'm going to start at verse 13. I'm going to jump. It says, Therefore I will shake the heavens, the earth shall remove out of her place, America. All right. Actually, let me read that again. Therefore I will shake the heavens, the earth shall remove out of her place. That's talking about the ICBM missiles, but they will mainly hit America. Other places too, but mainly here. All right. So the impact is going to cause this earth to rock to and fro. The tectonic plates shifting, causing earthquakes, causing tsunamis, causing other catastrophes upon the earth, volcanic eruptions, and the wrath of the Lord of hosts in the day of his fierce anger. Right? Jump down to verse 20. Oh, actually, verse 19. In Babylon, the glory kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. How was Sodom and Gomorrah overthrown? By fire and brimstone. Modern day fire and brimstone? What is that? The ICBMs. Okay? The ICBMs. Isaiah 54 verse 16. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, the artificer, which are what? Your blacksmiths who create weapons of war. Their modern day blacksmith are these nuclear scientists who split the atoms to create, all right, the ICBM, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and I have created the waster to destroy. Those are the ICBM missiles. So now back in Isaiah 13, verse 20, it shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation, neither shall an Arabian pitch tent there. So none of these heathens making money off this place, which it says in Revelation 18, Ishmael, all right, you name it. Neither shall the shepherds make their fold there, but wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there. And the wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces. And her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. So destruction is coming, all right? It's closer now than ever. Really, you can see the whole, the way the whole world is right now. We're getting closer and closer to the end of this beast system of Esau Edom's rulership and the beginning of our world. All right, Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Okay, the kingdom of heaven to be established on earth. Verse 3, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. The kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. So the philosophies that this place spews out is democracy. All right, demon-like control, demon, and crazy rulership. So demon-like rulership. All right, that spews upon these other nations around the world. And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. All right, the philosophies. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. All right. It says, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not of her plagues. And Yahushua will say this in Hebrew when he returns, and he's going to deliver us, the elect. Lord willing, I'm part of that, but he's going to deliver the elect. And that plague is what? The Isabean missile. That's that last plague. All right. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High hath remembered her iniquities. So, what they done to the children of Israel, the whole world is in uproar and crying over Ukraine. All right, an Edomite country like Russia invading another Edomite country like Ukraine, but no one was crying for the nation of Israel when we were being slaughtered in slavery. All right, no one was making an uproar. Even these other nations like Afghanistan, Syria, no one was crying for them. All right. So the sins, all right, that has reached unto heaven. The Most High remember the iniquities, because you Edomites touched the Most High, the apple of his eye. You put us in captivity. You slaughtered us. All right. You raped our women. You done horrific acts. Now, hey, recompense, payback. It's going to come double unto you. You're going to be put in slavery. You're going to be killed with the sword. All right. You're going to be the lowest creature upon the earth. It says, verse 6, reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works. In the cup which she hath filled to her double. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord power who judgeth her. That's going to come in one day. On that last and dreadful day. No one knows the day, but that last and dreadful day, America will be nuked. All right. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her, and they shall see the smoke of her burning. Now, how could you see the smoke of a whole nation burning? That has to be nuclear missiles, especially the size of America. All right, the whole country burning. It's going to be with nuclear. It has to be done by nuclear missiles, and they're going to lament because they won't make any profit off this place anymore. All right. And it's going to be televised, but best believe it's going to be televised too, man. We live in a technological age. Everyone has a cell phone and these different social media platforms. People, just like how we're seeing what's going on in Ukraine, people are going to see the devastation of America. All right. Verse 10, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. All right. So judgment is coming to America, to Basra. All right, this is Basra, because Basra was a capital of ancient Edom. All right. So this is Esau Edom's kingdom, and it's falling apart. All right. It's all falling apart. So we're seeing the transition of kingdoms. So call Allah Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. All right. And a ball. Okay, Lord willing, this was the edifying lesson. All right, so till the next time, Shalom.